Hello there. Welcome to Lumio Palooza. My name's John Keller, and today we're here with Brenda Parrish from Edon Elementary in Ohio. And if you could please share where you're joining from in the chat or something that you've learned in a prior session that you plan to bring to the upcoming year. And please note that this session is being recorded. You'll receive the recording by email within the next week or so. And also note that you'll see some links in the chat throughout, including the survey link for your certificate at the end. And if you could please join the Lumio session by going to lumioclass.com. The code for this session, we'll share that on the screen. It'll also be in the chat, and that is 526189. Please feel free to ask any questions through the session. We'll make sure to answer them for you at the end. And we will take time at the end to share our experience on social media. So if you see something that you like, please feel welcome to grab a screenshot, put it on socials with the hashtag LumioPalooza2026 or hashtag GoLumio. So welcome, Brenda. Brenda has her grandkids visiting her this week. She's been having a great week as we've caught up prior to the call here. And I understand that you've taught second grade for about 27 years. And how long during that time have you used Lumio?
So I have taught second grade quite a few years, yes. We used Lumio all the way back when you had to actually put it as you had to load it onto your laptops and do it as when you were constructing your Lumio, to do it through that instead of now how we do it. So we started way back when we first got smartboards, and that was, I would say about 20 years ago. So when we first moved into our new building here, and we got these beautiful smartboards, and that's where we started.
Awesome. So you've been using some of the interactive resources pretty much since you've had the boards. And that said, what advice would you have for new users of Lumio?
New users, do not be afraid. I have used this for a long time, and if I can do it, you can do it. So it is very, I was talking with John earlier, it's simplistic, but it's wonderful. So you can make mistakes, but you can erase those mistakes. It's not a big deal. You just have to try. Making these lessons is something I have fun at. So don't hesitate, use it.
Sounds great. And then with the lesson that you'll be showing us today, or how you use it with the lessons that you'll be showing us today, I'll kind of let you dive right in here. But Brenda's got a great presentation for us. And Brenda, please take it away.
Okay, thanks, John. First of all, thank you everyone at Lumio for having me. This is my second year at Lumio Palooza, so it's exciting to share again how I use Lumio Palooza in my classroom, even at the elementary level. So thank you very much for this opportunity. You can join me, Brenda Parrish. I'm not a very social media person, but I do what I can, and there are my social media choices. So let's go ahead and dive right into what we're doing today. So here in our agenda, I would love to show you how I use Lumio in my second grade classroom. And then we'll do an interactive demonstration of a Lumio lesson that I've already done about building background. And then last of all, we'll do a make it, take it Lumio lesson. As Terry said and John said, this is being recorded. So you'll get a copy of this recording at the end. So if you do have questions, you can always replay it. When we go through it, you're welcome to dive into your own Lumio session and try to build one. But I'm going to show you it's not as hard as you think it is. It's actually very easy, and especially for my kiddos, very, very valuable. So let's go ahead and get started. So using Lumio in my classroom, first of all, many schools that I know that around here have been limiting screen time for kiddos. Our littles are getting so much screen time at home that we want to make sure that they're not getting too much. So, but we all know that there is a time and a place for computers and screen time. In third grade and higher grades in Ohio, our kiddos are using computers to take tests. So in second grade, we feel it's very valuable to give them the skills to use a laptop and to introduce that to them. So Lumio helps us do that. And again, we are very intentional with what we do in the classroom on our computers. We use Lumio through Google Classroom. So the students are taught a routine, and at the very beginning of the year, they know the rules of what they can do in Lumio, what they're not supposed to do in Lumio. And of course, they always keep each other on task. So we lay the foundation at the beginning of the year, and then we set the expectations for the usage, and it's been a fabulous tool to use. So that being said, what do I use Lumio for? So our reading program is mostly nonfiction. We have a lot of fantastic books that we learned with throughout the year. And then our small groups are also nonfiction books. So I use Lumio to build background for these small group sessions. So our Lumio lesson will introduce a topic. It introduces new vocabulary and also lets them try something fun. So we've noticed that we needed to reinforce comprehension and vocabulary. And we do some group phonics as well. So your Lumio presentation or Lumio program can have all of that in one. And it's short enough that it keeps their attention, and it's fun enough that they like to learn. So that's what I do with it. So when do I do it? I do it during my small group reading time. I will have a group of kiddos back with me at a small group table, and other students are working at their own pace and going through their Lumio presentation. And I just have to say with them, hey guys, I need group 1 or 2, 3, 4, whatever, and the rest of you are on your Lumio background, and they know exactly what I'm doing. When I say that, they know exactly what they need to do. So they're great about doing that. When they get done, when they come to me for that small group time, instead of them saying, what are we going to read about today? I get, hey, I know what we're reading about today. And they're very excited about it because they have been engaged with that new vocabulary and that new topic. So it's a plus. It's a win-win for me because they've already developed some background, and then they're coming to me and we're able to read. They've started the vocabulary, new vocabulary, decodable vocabulary, and then I just have to take that on and run with it. So that's when I use our Lumio. Lumio is amazing. There's so many things that I still need to learn about Lumio, and it can be learned throughout. I use it during reading, and we also use it during phonics for practice during our phonics development. So, but it can be used for so many things. I have a high school friend that uses, there's a math one that I don't even understand because it's way above my second grade math. And she's like, oh, this is great for teaching my math skills. And I'm like, that's great. I'm glad you know what to do with it because I don't. But there are so many different things that you can do with Lumio. So maybe you're not an elementary teacher, you teach different subjects. It covers it all. So make sure you look into it. All right. So what does a second grade building background Lumio lesson look like? So here is just an idea of what a lesson looks like. I like to keep my things short and sweet because I have second graders. They have short attention spans. And so a lesson starts out usually with a video. So we want to hook them with what we're learning. So especially if it's something new and very exciting, the lesson I chose to share with you was a lesson that we learned about the migration of monarch butterflies. Now, vocabulary for that is usually pretty good. Second graders know what butterflies are. Some of them know what monarch butterflies are, but watching the video and getting them hooked into this to where they come to me and they say, "Oh, Mrs. Parrish, you wouldn't believe these monarch butterflies." It's exciting. So I find I find a video that I watch first, and then integrate into the program. So when they're doing this, they're playing this on their own and they're working through their own pace. So I have kiddos, any elementary teacher knows, they are in and out of the classroom, bathrooms, specials. They go with certain teachers here or speech teachers there. This is a great way that they can do this on their own at their own pace. So not everybody's at the same on the same lesson, but they are on the same page, but they are on the same lesson. So I'm just going to play just a few minutes of this just to show you how fantastic.
Okay, so I've driven for about 4 hours today from Mexico City to the top of this hill where now I'm on a horse. And we are about to see something I've wanted to see since I was about 5 years old. So at the end of every summer, millions, tens of millions of monarch butterflies.
So this goes through and he shares his march to the monarch butterflies. It is amazing. And it gets the kids so excited about learning why and where these monarch butterflies migrate. So that starts it out. You notice that the video is only about 5 minutes long. That's about the longest I like to do with my kiddos. Sometimes I do longer, it just depends on the subject and the quality of the videos. So great videos, and that's linked through YouTube, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. So they start with a video lesson, and then I just simply take my curriculum, my book, and go through and look at the vocabulary that I have in our book. What's not decodable for them? What is going to be brand new? What might they not understand? And then I use some of the great interactive games, and we connect those games using a game and introduce new vocabulary from the story, and I connect them to a picture, which I think gives them something to connect up in their brains. So we do a memory match. The kiddos start their memory match. They can play one or two players. We go through things at the beginning of the year, and we always say, we start with one player. If you get done with your entire lesson and you would like to play again, you may play with the person that sits next to you on either side. So that helps them then again reinforce that vocabulary. Something I love about Lumio is that you can use pictures as well as words. So, and those pictures can be enlarged, made bigger, and then they simply go, it's a matching game. So we would go through and they would match. There are words in here somewhere. Okay, milkweed. So this would be something new for them. They would not know milkweed. So at least they've got a picture to match with that word milkweed. And so the students would go through, play this. This introduces them to a lot of words that they are familiar with, words that they are not familiar with. So hopefully when they see those, then when we're reading a story, they can go ahead and say, oh, I saw that word. I know what that is. Or I saw that word. I didn't quite understand it. Or what is that word? That's extra long and it had a capital at the beginning. So that has to be something special. So hopefully they're picking up on and building that background. So there's so many interactive games that you could use. Memory Match is one of my second graders' favorites. They also have vocabulary cards you can do. They're called flip out. So you make the cards and then they flip, and they're able to see a picture for the word that's on the other side. So that's awesome. They enjoy that. Also, I take the words that are decodable or maybe some tricky words that we've done before, and we do word searches. They love those. There's word search is great. There is a place that they can use a hint. My kids at first start off using the hints all the time. And then I challenge them to say, try not to use any hints at all. And they love to do that. And they're trying to say, hey, I did it. I did it twice, no hints. And I said, that's awesome. That's great. And they know they can read their words to each other. And they could discuss the new vocabulary with a friend as long as they're quiet while I'm back and with my group. Now, they're getting all of this information while I'm back and addressing 5 to 6 other kiddos. So they're going to come to me and be ready to read, which is exciting. So okay, so now students are learned, they're prepared for learning, and they're engaged in the topic they're going to read. We like to do some fun things as well. Another video that we like to pull up, they do the how-to all the time. My kiddos love the how-to draw. And they know everything, all of our supplies are in the classroom. So they know if the how to draw video comes up, they know exactly what to do. They go to get their papers, their pencils, they go ahead, they can play their video, they know they can color, and they have a place where they hang their drawings in the classroom. So right now, they know what a monarch butterfly looks like. They know it's called a monarch. They know it's going somewhere, they're migrating, and we're going to read about it in small group time with Mrs. Parrish. So they've already set that background. All right, so let's do some making and taking. And I'm going to show you, and this is from a veteran teacher, that it's not really as hard as you think it is. And there have been times when I have forgotten to make a background, and I've sat down with 15, 20 minutes and I put something together. So it's not as hard as you think it is. If I can do it, you can do it. So, John, let me see.
Yeah, we'll confirm you got the right screen shared here.
All right. So I end this, correct?
Right.
All right. So, okay. And I go back up here to class sessions, go to my library, and then I can go ahead. Okay, so when you get to your library, if you have not ever done this before, it is pretty easy. We're going to go ahead to the plus sign, and we are going to start a building background session. So what I did was I just grabbed a book that I had not done yet, one of my small group books, and my curriculum guide. And the book that I chose was about the Paralympics. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm not sure that my students would know what the Paralympics are. So I go through and I looked at my vocabulary and I thought, okay, so first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull up a YouTube because I want them to know what is the Paralympics. So when you're searching, it is valuable for you to add words like Paralympics for kids or Paralympics information. So I'm going to go ahead and try to spell Paralympics. Okay, Paralympics. And I'm going to do information. And you can see pops up right away, Paralympics for kids. The history of Paralympics. So I would look through these. What is a Paralympic sport? I would look through these. This would be my first choice because I always look for something that's going to be at their level. Some of these are great, but they would be too high for my second graders. This one's only 3 minutes and 48 seconds. So I would go ahead, I would view this, but since we're on time restraints, I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. And then I just slide down here to add. And that's your first part of your lesson is already done. So it's importing my video. Hopefully. Okay. And then I always pop up here where it says untitled. And then I add the name of my book. So, whoops, sorry. So I would be able to find it then when I need it the next year. So we go down here to add pages, and then I go to vocabulary. My second grade brain goes to, okay, what are these students going to need to do, to read this book with me? So I go to the game-based activities. And I told you there are so many things here that they can do, but they're doing at their own, at their own pace, excuse me. So I'm going to jump into the game-based activities, and I'll pull up my favorite, which is that memory match. And I have looked through my words here, and I know one of them right away. I'm not a big category person. You can add the category names. We could add word, and we could say match the word to a picture. I'm going right to Olympics. Oh, and I had to pick something very, very difficult, didn't I? There we go. So then I click over here and I go to the picture portion because I like my second grade. I'm a very visual learner. So for me, pictures are very important. So I go right here, LLYMPIC, Olympics, and look for a picture. This is a personal choice. I'm thinking to myself, the Olympic rings is going to mean Olympics to students. So you can see right away, they've got some great pictures here. Just pick one that you think matches and click OK. And that would be your first memory match. You would need to do, I think we do about 3 of them. Some of my other words, I have whistle. And these are words that maybe we haven't covered yet, or that would be hard for them to pronounce or be decodable. So whistle, and I know we think about different types of whistles. So what whistle would be the whistle that we would use in our book? Of course, it's going to be something like that. Okay, so I can do as many as there's 8 pairs remaining, so 10 pairs. I'm going to go ahead and choose next, and it gives me, do I want animals or the fireflies? Animals are always fun. And then we finish. So I can add as many as I want, or as little as I want. Sometimes I have them match word for word if I don't have a picture, like disabilities is one of my words. I would want them to see that word. They may not be able to stretch it out, but then they could actually visually see the word disabilities. Oh, that word is going to be in my book. I could find if I can't find a good picture, I use the words. Then I go ahead and add another page. And again, I go with those game-based. And you can choose something that is, we do super sorts a lot. Again, that word search is fun. And for this, you can make it as big or as small as you want. You can do it moderate or difficult where the words are backwards. I usually start easy at the beginning of the year and go to moderate. And then you simply just enter the words. I like for this portion to be the decodable words, so they already know the words. So I would just go ahead and use my book and type in words that they are going to see in their book that they're going to read with me. So we can go, and it sets it up. There's great backgrounds. You can choose some very simple to very fun. I'll just go ahead and choose one. And right now we already have three slides in our Lumio lesson, and that wasn't very long at all. So I would finish this. I can finish editing. And then I simply share this to a Google Classroom. The students know they go to their Google Classroom when I tell them, hey, it's Building Background Day, find your Lumio lesson, and it's listed there. and you simply start new, or you can assign new. There's a couple different ways to do this now. I go to share assignment and I copy that and paste that right into my Google Classroom and name it Lumio background. And they go to the Lumio or to the Google Classroom and go right into it. It's all set up at the beginning of the year for them to dive into that. So that is, in a nutshell, me building a lesson. So if I can do it, you can do it.
Thank you, Brenda. And I love that you took some time to walk through how you build that lesson out. And I think for those teaching different grades, it's important to be mindful of that. There are the 12 different game-based activities, but it could also just be as simple as a formative assessment as well. And really just getting back to the concept of you're not just jumping right into the reading, you're building that motivation with the video, getting the students excited about the concepts. Once they see that media, they interact with that media, then you're bringing that to that interactivity with the game. And I imagine, of course, with second graders, a game like Memory Match is always going to be a big hit. But then by the time they're getting down to sit down and read, they've got that general introduction of the background knowledge. They're excited by the opportunity to engage with the media, to engage with their peers. And that makes opening up that book that much more exciting and that much more motivating for them to get into the crux of it. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. I think we had a couple of questions in the chat here.
Sure.
Somebody asks if you guys use Epic during guided reading.
I do not use Epic during guided reading. That is at a different time. Like I said, we're very intentional with our computer usage, and that is Epic is one platform that we do use at when we do have time for students to read. But it is not something I use connected with Lumio.
And they had also mentioned that with Epic and Lumio being partners, that there are some ready-made lessons available in the Lumio library. So I actually wasn't aware of that myself. My son was asking me because he loves Epic at his school. So I'll have to dig into that a little bit myself here.
I will too. So I'm glad that whoever mentioned that, thank you, because I will definitely look at that as well.
And some commentary on the great use of the video and have shared your lesson out for you. But let's see. Another question of when sharing with students, do you select the teacher or student pacing? And I think if I got it correct, that you select the student pacing.
I do.
You said students are in and out of the class, and that you give them the flexibility to work at their own pace.
Right. Yes. So that's student pacing, or teacher pacing would be when I have it up on my board and they're on their computers and I'm controlling it. But this, because they're in and out of the room and I'm actually busy because I'm working with a small group, I do choose student pacing.
Great. And I think one thing that's worth noting too is with the students being in second grade and they're, at the beginning of the year, maybe getting used to using their devices at that age, that once the students get up and running with Lumio, I understand you mentioned you have it through Google Classroom, but once they have that class code entered, pretty much every class they're on out, they're pretty much good to go to just click that link and see their materials?
Yes. Once we get that started at the beginning of the year, they just click that link and it goes right into that program, that Lumio program and that lesson, and it takes them right to that.
So there's not a lot of friction in terms of getting the students into their activities, right?
Right. Yes. Very easy and very consistent, which they like.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brenda. This was great. I think it's an awesome way to tie in the media, the interactivity, and ultimately getting to that tying it all together and pulled into the reading materials. So let's see here. All right. Couple things I want to note here. The survey link for your certificate of attendance should now be in the chat if you want to take a moment to fill that out. And you will receive the recording from this session by email within the next week. I don't know if there are more sessions because I think this was like the end of the day, but I hope
End
that
of the
you all
day.
enjoyed the sessions over the past couple of days. And then, of course, we have our social media posting challenge. And with celebrating Lumio Palooza and getting on social, we have a contest for all attendees that 4 winners will receive a $25 e-gift card of their choice. And again, those hashtags were Lumio Palooza 2020. Oh, Terry just put those in the chat. Thank you, Terry. And winners will be announced during the keynote sessions at 7 p.m. each day. And then, of course, you'll be contacted over social media. Was there any other questions or maybe insights that you wanted to share, Brenda?
I don't believe so. I'm just very tickled to be here and to share what I do with my classroom using Lumio. These are great resources and easy to use. So dive in.
Awesome. And I do want to note that Terry mentioned there's one more round of sessions at 6 p.m. So
Great.
not quite the last ones here, Brenda, but I think your session was a fantastic way leading to wrapping it all up here. And I appreciate it. Well, thank you everybody for joining. And thanks again, Brenda, for sharing this. This is really great.
Thank you very much, everyone.